Ethan adjusted the controls of his spacecraft, the Star Wanderer, his eyes scanning the instrument panels that monitored life support systems and fuel levels. Everything appeared nominal, a continuation of the monotonous weeks he had endured in deep space. Just as he settled in for another routine shift, a shrill alarm broke the silence of the cockpit. A proximity alert. "What now?" Ethan muttered under his breath, his fingers dancing swiftly across the controls. The navigation system had detected an uncharted planetary body, and it was huge. He steered the Star Wanderer into a wide orbit around the mysterious world. As the planet came into view, Ethan caught his breath. It was a stark landscape, bathed under the harsh light of twin suns, an endless expanse of sand dunes stretching as far as the eye could see. The atmospheric readings confirmed the air was thin but breathable, albeit a bit thin. It was a desert world, devoid of obvious life, yet something about it beckoned Ethan closer. He contacted Mission Control back on Earth. "Houston, this is Star Wanderer. I've discovered an uncharted planet at these coordinates." He relayed the string of numbers and waited for permission to explore further. After a tense pause, Houston's reply crackled through the speakers. "Wanderer, this is Houston. Your request is approved. Proceed with caution and maintain regular updates. Good luck, Ethan." A thrill shot through him as he guided the spacecraft through the planet's thin atmosphere. This was what he lived for. The thrill of discovery, the chance to be the first human to set foot on an alien world. As the Star Wanderer touched down on a vast plain of red sand, Ethan couldn't suppress his excitement. He donned his EVA suit, cycled through the airlock, and took his first step onto the alien surface, stirring up a cloud of dust. Placing the American flag on the alien soil, more out of tradition than any claim, Ethan activated his suit's recording system and began to narrate his findings. Surface gravity is about 0.8 Earth normal. The air is thin but breathable. With twin suns, temperature variations are extreme. Currently, it's 52 degrees Celsius. No signs of macroscopic life forms or vegetation. The terrain is primarily sand dunes, with some rocky outcroppings in the distance. After several hours of collecting soil and atmospheric samples and cataloging everything for later analysis, Ethan prepared to conclude his initial survey. That's when something unusual caught his eye on the horizon, a metallic glint out of place in the endless sea of sand. His curiosity piqued. Ethan trudged across the sand toward the anomaly. As he drew closer, his eyes widened in disbelief. It was unmistakably the wreckage of a spacecraft, but unlike any human design. The hull was composed of a shimmering, almost organic material he had never encountered before. "Houston," Ethan said, his voice tight with excitement, "I've discovered what appears to be an alien craft. I repeat, this is not of human origin." He approached the wreckage cautiously, scanning for any signs of radiation or other hazards. The craft had clearly been there for some time, partially buried by the shifting sands. Ethan circled the craft, searching for an entry point. That's when he heard it. A soft whimper, barely audible over the whisper of wind across the dunes. Ethan froze, certain he must have imagined it. But there it was again, a sound unmistakably human, the sound of a child in distress. His heart pounding, Ethan scrambled over a twisted section of the hull to investigate. What he saw next would change his life forever. Huddled in the shadow of the wreckage were two small figures. As his eyes adjusted to the dim light, Ethan realized with a shock that they weren't human children. Their skin was a pale, ethereal blue, adorned with delicate patterns of swirling lines like intricate tattoos, and their large almond-shaped violet eyes stared up at him with a mix of fear and hope. "My God," Ethan whispered. He knelt down slowly, not wanting to frighten them further. They appeared to be twin girls, no more than 3 or 4 years old by human standards, dressed in tattered clothes, looking terrified and malnourished. Ethan's training as an astronaut and explorer kicked in, overriding his shock. These were living beings in distress, and his course of action was clear. He calmed his voice and radioed Houston again. "Houston, we have a situation. I've found survivors, 2 alien children in need of immediate medical attention. I need guidance." The silence from Mission Control stretched out as they processed this unprecedented discovery. When they finally responded, the instructions were clear. "Wanderer, ensure the safety and well-being of the survivors. Use your best judgment and wait for further instructions. Ethan nodded, more to himself than anyone else, and turned back to the alien girls who were watching his every move with wary curiosity. He held out his hands, palms up, in a universal gesture of peace. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm not going to hurt you. My name is Ethan. Can you understand me?" The girls tilted their heads, reminding Ethan of curious birds. One of them hesitantly reached out a small blue hand towards him. As their fingertips touched, Ethan felt a strange tingling sensation, and suddenly, a flood of images and emotions washed over him. Fear, hunger, loneliness, and a desperate plea for help. Ethan gasped and stumbled back, breaking the connection. The alien child who had touched him let out a soft coo that somehow conveyed an apology. "It's all right," Ethan said, recovering his composure. "That was unexpected, but I think I understand now. You need help, don't you?" Both girls nodded emphatically. Ethan made a decision then and there. Protocol be damned. He couldn't leave these children here to die on this desolate world. "Okay," he said, standing up. "I'm going to take you somewhere safe. Can you walk?" The girls struggled to their feet, but it was clear they were weak from hunger and exposure. Ethan scooped them up, one in each arm. They were surprisingly light, and he could feel their rapid heartbeats against his chest. As Ethan turned to head back to his ship, a gust of wind kicked up a blinding cloud of sand. He instinctively shielded the girls with his body. When he looked up, he saw with alarm that visibility had dropped to near zero. A sandstorm was brewing, and they were caught right in the middle of it. "Hang on tight," Ethan told the girls, though he wasn't sure they understood his words. He activated his suit's heads-up display, using it to navigate back towards the Star Wanderer. The wind howled around them, pelting Ethan with stinging grains of sand. Just when he thought they were making progress, a monstrous shape loomed out of the storm. Ethan's blood ran cold as he found himself face to face with a creature straight out of a nightmare. It was serpentine, at least 20 feet long, with rows of gleaming teeth and eyes that glowed an eerie green in the gloom. The alien predator let out a bone-chilling shriek and lunged towards them. Ethan dove to the side, still clutching the girls tightly. He scrambled to his feet and ran, heart pounding in his ears. The creature gave chase, its sinuous body undulating across the sand with terrifying speed. Ethan's lungs burned as he pushed himself to the limit. The girls clung to him, their small bodies trembling in fear. Just when he thought all hope was lost, the familiar silhouette of the Star Wanderer appeared through the swirling sand. With a final burst of speed, Ethan reached the ship's airlock. He slammed his hand on the emergency override, practically falling inside as the outer doors hissed shut behind them. The alien predator crashed against the hull with a resounding boom, but the reinforced metal held firm. As the inner airlock cycled open, Ethan stumbled into the ship's living quarters. He gently set the girls down on his bunk, then collapsed to his knees, gasping for breath. The adrenaline began to fade, leaving him shaky and overwhelmed by what had just transpired. The alien children huddled together on the bed, watching Ethan with those enormous violet eyes. Now that they were in the ship's artificial lighting, he could see them more clearly. Despite their alien features, there was something undeniably childlike and vulnerable about them. Ethan pulled off his helmet and ran a hand through his sweat-soaked hair. "Okay," he said, more to himself than the girls. "Okay, you're safe now. Let's get you some food and water, and then we'll figure out what to do next." He rummaged through the ship's supplies, finding some nutrient bars and a container of purified water. The girls watched his every move, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and weariness. Ethan approached slowly, holding out the food and water. "Here," he said gently. "You must be hungry." The twins looked at each other, then back at Ethan. Hesitantly, one of them reached out and took a nutrient bar. She sniffed it cautiously, then took a small bite. Her eyes widened, and she quickly devoured the rest. Her sister followed suit, and soon they were both eating and drinking with desperate enthusiasm. As Ethan watched them, a wave of protectiveness washed over him. These children had clearly been through a traumatic ordeal. They were alone on a hostile world, the sole survivors of. With the alien twins now safely aboard his spacecraft, Ethan's priorities shifted to their immediate well-being and the daunting journey back to Earth. The twins, whom Ethan had started to think of as Ava and Mia, seemed to slowly regain their strength with each passing hour, their curiosity growing as they explored the limited confines of the Star Wanderer. Ethan contacted Houston with an update. "Houston, this is Star Wanderer. The survivors are aboard. They appear to be in stable condition. I have no way to communicate with them verbally. Please advise on next steps." There was a lengthy pause before Mission Control responded, their voice mixed with awe and uncertainty. "Wanderer, maintain your position and stand by. We're convening an emergency meeting to determine the best course of action. This situation is unprecedented. We need time to consult with international partners and xenobiologists." Acknowledging the order, Ethan turned his attention back to the girls. They had finished their meal and were now touching everything within reach, their expressions filled with wonder. One of the twins reached out to a control panel, causing the lights to flicker, which made Ethan jump up quickly to guide her hand away. "Hey, careful with that," he said gently, his voice tinged with a fatherly concern he hadn't expected to feel. The girl looked up at him, and the air around her shimmered. Ethan watched in amazement as several small objects, a stylus, a data pad, even his coffee mug, began to float, suspended in midair. "Incredible," Ethan murmured. It was clear these children possessed abilities far beyond human norms. The floating objects gently settled back down as the girl's concentration broke, and she gave Ethan a shy smile. Over the next few hours, Ethan did his best to make the twins feel at home. He fashioned makeshift beds from spare blankets and pillows, and spent time sitting with them, trying to establish a sense of trust and safety. As the planet's twin sun set, casting the barren landscape in a surreal orange glow, Ethan found himself facing a difficult decision. The idea of leaving them on this desolate world seemed unthinkable, but bringing them back to Earth would open up a Pandora's box of ethical, scientific, and potentially diplomatic issues. Yet, as he watched them sleeping peacefully on the ship's bunk, their innocence and vulnerability stirred something deep within him, a protective instinct he hadn't known he possessed. With a deep breath, Ethan made his decision. He would bring them back to Earth. It wouldn't be easy, and he knew he'd face intense scrutiny and questioning, but he couldn't abandon these children to an uncertain fate on a hostile alien world. Ethan sat down at the ship's main console and began to input the coordinates for the long journey home. As the Star Wanderer's engines hummed to life, Ethan glanced back at the sleeping girls. He didn't know what challenges lay ahead, but he was determined to give these strange, miraculous children a chance at a better life. "Houston," he said, his voice firm with resolve. "This is Star Wanderer preparing for departure. I'm bringing them home." As the ship lifted off, leaving behind the desolate planet and its deadly sandstorms, Ethan felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. He knew that his life, and potentially the course of human history, had just changed forever. But looking at the peaceful faces of the alien twins, he knew in his heart that he was doing the right thing. The vastness of space stretched out before them as the Star Wanderer began its long journey back to Earth. Ethan settled into the pilot's seat, his mind racing with thoughts of the future. He had no idea what awaited them when they returned, but he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For now, his mission was clear: protect these extraordinary children and bring them safely to their new home. As the alien world receded behind them, Ethan allowed himself a small smile. Whatever happened next, he knew that the greatest adventure of his life was just beginning. As the Star Wanderer re-entered Earth's atmosphere, a swarm of military jets escorted them to a secure landing facility. The world was abuzz with news of Ethan's extraordinary discovery, and by the time they landed, a mix of military personnel, government officials, and scientists surrounded the landing pad. Ethan held Ava and Mia close, their tiny hands gripping his as they faced the crowd together. Once inside the secure facility, the twins underwent a series of medical examinations and quarantine procedures to ensure they carried no pathogens alien to Earth. Ethan stayed by their side, his presence a calming influence as they navigated this barrage of tests and interviews. "Ethan, you've brought something unprecedented to our doorstep," said General Harris, the official appointed to oversee the situation. "We need to understand who these children are and where they come from. Their abilities alone could change the world." Ethan, tired and wary of the intentions around him, nodded. "I understand, General, but they're just kids. They're scared and far from home. We need to protect them, not treat them like specimens. The general assured him of their good intentions, but Ethan remained skeptical. The twins, meanwhile, displayed an innocence and intelligence that charmed everyone they met. They quickly learned basic English, facilitated by their apparent telepathic abilities, which allowed them to absorb information at a remarkable rate. In the weeks that followed, Ethan's life was a whirlwind of debriefings and discussions about the twins' future. Ava and Mia began to adapt to their new environment, their resilience and curious nature making the transition smoother than Ethan had feared. One day, while playing in the secure outdoor area designed for them, Ava's hand brushed against a wall, and the concrete shimmered and changed color, reacting to her touch. The incident, caught on surveillance, sparked a new wave of fascination and fear. "This changes everything," murmured Dr. Emily Stone, a leading xenobiologist who had become an advocate for the twins' well-being. Their ability to interact with non-organic material could be revolutionary. Ethan watched the twins playing, their laughter a sound he had grown to cherish. "They're not weapons or tools, Emily, they're children. We have to remember that." As the days passed, the government set up a special advisory board to integrate Ava and Mia into society, while safeguarding their unique nature. Ethan was appointed as their official guardian, a role he accepted without hesitation. The integration process was delicate. Public curiosity was immense, and the media storm was relentless. Ethan worked tirelessly to shield the twins from the public eye, striving to provide them a semblance of normalcy amid the chaos. Eventually, the decision was made to introduce them to the world through a controlled press conference. Ethan stood behind the podium, Ava and Mia at his side, facing a sea of cameras. "Today I want you to meet Ava and Mia," Ethan began, his voice steady. "Two remarkable girls who have shown me the true meaning of courage and resilience. They have abilities we don't fully understand yet, but more than that, they have hopes and dreams, fears and joys. They are not so different from any of us." The twins, dressed in simple dresses, waved shyly to the cameras, their eyes wide with a mixture of awe and nervousness. "We ask for your kindness and understanding as we help them find their place in our world," Ethan continued. "Treat them with the compassion you would want for your own children." The conference marked a turning point. Public sentiment, initially mixed, grew more sympathetic as people saw the twins not as alien threats but as vulnerable children in need of protection. Over time, Ava and Mia began to attend a special educational program tailored to their needs and abilities. They made friends with other children, their innate charm and curiosity breaking down barriers. Ethan watched them grow, his heart swelling with pride at their progress. They faced challenges, certainly, moments of fear and misunderstanding, but they also experienced moments of profound connection and joy. As he tucked them into bed one evening, Mia looked up at him with her deep violet eyes. "Ethan, are we home now?" "Yes," Ethan replied softly, brushing a lock of her ethereal blue hair from her forehead. "You're home." Outside, the stars twinkled in the night sky, a reminder of the vast, mysterious universe that had brought them together. Ethan knew the road ahead would be filled with uncertainties, but whatever challenges lay ahead, he was committed to giving Ava and Mia a life full of love and opportunity. The greatest adventure of his life was no longer just exploring new worlds, but guiding these two extraordinary beings through the complexities of this one. As he left their room, Ethan paused at the door, looking back at the peaceful scene. Whatever the future held, he was ready. Several months after the twins' arrival on Earth, Ethan began to navigate the complexities of raising two alien children in a world that was still grappling with their existence. He moved into a small house provided by the government, set in a secluded area to ensure their privacy and safety. The twins, Ava and Mia, continued to surprise everyone with their rapid learning and adaptability, but their alien abilities often drew unwanted attention. Ethan worked closely with Dr. Emily Stone and a team of educators to create a balanced curriculum that catered to the twins' unique needs and abilities. They incorporated traditional subjects like math and reading with sessions designed to help the twins understand and control their powers. However, the real challenge came with social integration. Ethan enrolled the twins in a local school, hoping to give them a semblance of normal childhood experiences. The school administration was cautiously optimistic, adapting their protocols to accommodate Ava and Mia's needs. On their first day of school, Ethan felt a mix of pride and anxiety as he watched them walk into the classroom. their small backpacks bouncing with each step. The twins were nervous, but excited to meet other children. Ethan had prepared them as best as he could, explaining that they might encounter fear or curiosity from their classmates. The initial reception was a mix of fascination and unease among the students and teachers. Ava and Mia's gentle demeanor and eagerness to learn quickly won over some of their classmates, but others kept their distance, whispering and staring. Ethan remained involved, volunteering at the school and joining in class activities to help ease the integration process. He noticed that the twins had a calming effect on electronic devices, a peculiarity that the school's IT department found both baffling and beneficial. Despite these efforts, challenges persisted. One afternoon, during a science class, Mia accidentally caused the lights to flicker and dim when she got too excited about an experiment. The incident caused a stir among her classmates, leading to whispers of alien and freak. Heartbroken, Mia came home that day feeling alienated and confused. Ethan spent that evening talking to the twins about their differences, reassuring them of their unique place in the world. "You are different, yes, but that's what makes you special," Ethan told them. "Remember, it's okay to be unique. It's okay not to fit into every box." Determined to prevent further incidents, Ethan and Dr. Stone developed a special workshop for the school, educating the students and staff about the twins' background and abilities in a controlled, compassionate manner. The workshop aimed to foster understanding and acceptance, using interactive sessions that allowed other children to engage directly with Ava and Mia in a positive setting. Gradually, the atmosphere at school began to change. The twins started to make friends and their classmates learned to appreciate their differences. Ava and Mia's confidence grew, and they began to thrive, both academically and socially. However, just as things seemed to be settling, a new challenge loomed on the horizon. One evening, while reviewing security footage, Ethan noticed a mysterious figure lurking near their home. The figure appeared several times over the course of a week, always keeping a distance but clearly watching the house. Concerned for their safety, Ethan reported the sightings to General Harris, who increased security around their property and launched an investigation into the mysterious observer. The increased security presence reassured Ethan, but it also reminded him of the ongoing dangers they faced. As Ethan tucked the twins into bed that night, he felt a mix of determination and concern. "I will always protect you," he whispered, kissing them good night. Outside, the stars shone brightly, a constant reminder of the twins' origins and the ever-present link to mysteries beyond Earth. Ethan knew that their journey was far from over and that the road ahead would be filled with more challenges. But with each passing day, he grew more committed to ensuring that Ava and Mia could lead a life filled with love, acceptance, and understanding, no matter what the universe had in store for them. The mysterious figure continued to appear near Ethan's home, raising concerns about the true intent behind these observations. Despite the increased security measures, the intruder remained elusive, vanishing each time before they could be apprehended. This ongoing surveillance sparked fears of a deeper, more organized interest in Ava and Mia, perhaps from entities who viewed their unique abilities as assets to be exploited. Ethan's concerns escalated one brisk autumn evening when the security alarms blared unexpectedly. Rushing to the monitor, Ethan saw the mysterious figure closer to the house than ever before, almost at the edge of the backyard. This time, the intruder didn't disappear. Instead, they stood still as if waiting to be caught. General Harris was notified immediately, and within minutes, a security team encircled the intruder. To everyone's surprise, the figure did not resist, but allowed themselves to be taken into custody. Ethan watched anxiously from the window, holding Ava and Mia close, trying to shield them from the commotion outside. The intruder was brought into a secure interrogation room where Ethan, accompanied by General Harris and Dr. Stone, was allowed to observe through a two-way mirror. The intruder was revealed to be a woman, her features distinct yet humanoid, her demeanor calm and composed. "I mean no harm," she began, her voice steady and clear. "My name is Sarana, and I come from a civilization that has been observing Ava and Mia from afar. We are not enemies, but protectors, watching over them since their arrival on Earth." Her revelation stunned Ethan. "Protectors? Why the secrecy? Why spy on us if your intentions are benign?" Sarana explained that her people were distant relatives of the twins, part of a diaspora scattered across the stars due to historical conflicts on their home planet. Our civilization has kept tabs on all descendants, ensuring they are safe and thrive, no matter where in the universe they are. When we learned of their presence here, it became my duty to watch over them. General Harris was skeptical. If what you say is true, why not come forward sooner? Why lurk in the shadows? The complexities of interstellar politics and the non-interference protocols we abide by, Sarana replied. My presence needed to be unnoticed, to avoid political ramifications for your planet and ours. But seeing the twins in potential danger from other, less benevolent parties, I had to step closer. Dr. Stone, intrigued by the connection, asked, "What can you tell us about their abilities? How can we better help them integrate here?" Sarana offered a small device, a disc-like object. This contains basic educational modules from our world, tailored to their genetic predispositions. It will help them understand their heritage and control their abilities with greater ease. Ethan felt a mix of relief and wariness. "And what do you ask in return?" "Only to observe and occasionally guide with your permission. No interference, merely an assurance of their well-being," Sarana assured. After a lengthy discussion and thorough background checks through international and interstellar contacts that confirmed Sarana's story, an agreement was formed. Sarana would stay on Earth in a limited capacity, acting as a liaison between her world and Ethan's, ensuring the twins received the best of both worlds. As weeks turned into months, Sarana proved to be a valuable ally, teaching Ava and Mia more about their abilities and heritage. The twins were fascinated by the stories of their ancestral planet, eager to learn about the culture and people they also belonged to. Ethan watched as Ava and Mia used the educational modules Sarana provided. The twins began to exhibit even greater control over their abilities, using them in creative and constructive ways. They transformed their backyard into a vibrant display of light and color, much to the delight of their new school friends who began to visit more frequently. The integration into society became smoother, with the community gradually embracing the twins not as oddities, but as miracles of a shared universe. Schools started to implement programs discussing interstellar cultures and diversity, inspired by Ava and Mia's story. One evening, as Ethan sat watching the twins play in the backyard under a twilight sky, he realized how much had changed. From fear and uncertainty to acceptance and wonder, their journey reflected a broader hope for humanity, a hope that different beings could live together in peace and mutual respect. Ethan knew there were still challenges ahead, but with allies like Sarana and a community that slowly but surely accepted them, Ava and Mia could look forward to a future bright with possibility. As he tucked them into bed that night, he whispered, "You're not just the children of the stars, but also the bringers of new light to this world." The twins fell asleep with smiles, dreaming of both the world they came from and the world they were helping to shape. Ethan stepped outside, looking up at the stars, feeling more connected to the cosmos than ever before. The universe was vast, but it felt a little smaller, a little more like home. As the seasons changed and the twins grew more comfortable with their dual heritage, their unique abilities became integral to their identity. Ava and Mia, now fluent in both human expressions and the intricate language of Sarana's people, navigated their world with increasing confidence. The twins' school, once a place of wary glances and hushed whispers, had transformed into a hub of inclusive education, where diversity was not just accepted, but celebrated. However, with the twins' growing visibility and acceptance, new challenges emerged. A series of articles in major international journals questioned the ethics and future implications of interstellar beings living openly among humans. Debates flared across various platforms, polarizing public opinion. Some viewed the twins as ambassadors of a future where humans were not the only sentient beings on Earth, while others feared the unknown ramifications of their otherworldly abilities. Ethan, always vigilant, found himself at the center of these debates, defending his daughter's right to a normal life despite their extraordinary origins. At a televised debate, he articulated his views with calm resolve. "Ava and Mia have as much right to be here and be part of our community as any of us. Their presence challenges us to be better, to rethink our place in the cosmos," he asserted. Meanwhile, Sarana worked discreetly with global leaders to establish protocols for interstellar relations, using the twins as a case study for peaceful integration. Her efforts were instrumental in forming an international coalition to address the emerging realities of a universe where Earth was just one of many inhabited worlds. As these political and social dynamics evolved, Ava and Mia continued to explore their powers under Serana's guidance. They learned to harness their abilities in ways that benefited those around them. During a community event, they orchestrated a display of lights and colors that mirrored the aurora borealis, captivating the audience and demonstrating the beauty of their heritage. However, not all were swayed by these displays of goodwill. A fringe group, calling themselves the Terran Purity League, began to rally against the further integration of extraterrestrial elements into human society. Their propaganda spread fear and misinformation, leading to protests outside the twins' school and the government buildings where policies regarding extraterrestrial interactions were debated. The situation escalated when an anonymous threat reached Ethan, warning him to cease his advocacy for interstellar integration or face dire consequences. Shaken but undeterred, Ethan tightened security around their home and coordinated with local authorities to ensure the twins' safety. In the midst of these tensions, a breakthrough came unexpectedly. During a live broadcast of a panel discussion on human-extraterrestrial relations, a medical emergency arose when one of the panelists suffered a heart attack. Without hesitation, Mia stepped forward, her hands glowing with a soft light as she touched the stricken man. Her intervention stabilized his condition until emergency services arrived, her actions broadcasted to millions. The incident served as a poignant counter to the fear-mongering, showcasing the potential benefits of their abilities. Public sentiment shifted noticeably in the days that followed, with support growing for the twins and their place in society. The Terran Purity League's influence waned as more people recognized the twins not as threats, but as valuable members of the community. Encouraged by this support, Ethan organized an interstellar culture festival, inviting representatives from Serana's world and other entities interested in peaceful relations with Earth. The festival was a vibrant celebration of diversity, featuring art, music, and food from across the galaxy. Ava and Mia, radiant and joyful, became the young faces of a new era of interstellar friendship and understanding. As the festival drew to a close, Ethan, watching Ava and Mia laughing among their new friends from distant worlds, felt a profound sense of accomplishment and hope. He realized that despite the challenges, they were paving the way for a future where humanity could peacefully coexist and collaborate with other civilizations. Looking up at the stars, Ethan knew that the journey ahead would be filled with more challenges, but also incredible opportunities. With Ava and Mia by his side and with allies like Serana, he was ready to face whatever came next, forging a path not just for his family but for all of humanity in this expanded universe. As the twins, Ava and Mia, approached their teenage years, their role as bridge builders between Earth and the stars had become not just accepted but celebrated. Their unique position as both human and alien allowed them to embody a living example of coexistence and collaboration. The success of the Interstellar Culture Festival had sparked a series of similar events worldwide, fostering a growing sense of global unity and curiosity about the universe. Schools across the globe integrated interstellar studies into their curricula, inspired by the twins' ability to blend their heritage with their earthbound experiences. Ava and Mia thrived in this environment, becoming eloquent speakers and advocates for interspecies understanding. Ethan, ever the protective father, watched with pride and a touch of melancholy as his daughters grew into their roles with grace and intelligence. Serana, who had become a permanent envoy on Earth, helped facilitate deeper ties between Earth and her people, ensuring that the partnerships were built on mutual respect and benefit. The world had not become a utopia overnight. Challenges remained, and not every entity in the universe looked favorably upon this experiment in interstellar integration. However, the groundwork laid by Ava and Mia's example provided a strong foundation to address these challenges. During a particularly poignant moment, the twins were invited to speak at the United Nations, where they shared their experiences and vision for the future. Mia spoke first, her voice clear and steady. "Today we stand before you not as symbols of what has been achieved, but as harbingers of what we can still accomplish together. Our journey began with fear and misunderstanding, but it has blossomed into an era of communication and partnership that extends beyond the skies." Ava continued, "We envision a future where the barriers between worlds are bridges, where knowledge and compassion are the currencies of our exchanges. We are from the stars, but we are of Earth. We dream of a universe where every child, whether born on this planet or another, looks up at the sky not with fear but with hope. The address was met with a standing ovation, a moment that symbolized not only the twins' acceptance, but also the world's readiness to embrace a broader cosmic community. Back at home, Ethan prepared for the next phase of their lives. With Ava and Mia increasingly involved in public roles, he focused on ensuring that their legacy would be protected and that they would always have a safe haven to return to. One evening, as they sat watching the sunset from their backyard, a yard once marked by otherworldly lights and now a meeting place for friends and family from across the stars, Ethan reflected on the journey. "Did you ever think we'd make it this far?" he asked the twins, his voice thick with emotion. Mia smiled, squeezing his hand. "Dad, we were never alone. We had you, and we had each other. That's always been our strength." Ava nodded, her eyes reflecting the twilight. "And now we can share that strength with others. Every day we're helping to build a world that once existed only in dreams." The next day brought news that the Interstellar Coalition had formally agreed to establish a shared governance body, with Earth as a founding member. This body would oversee the collaborative efforts to ensure peace and prosperity across systems, with Ava and Mia nominated as youth ambassadors. As they prepared for the inauguration, Ethan, Ava, Mia, and Serana stood together, a family united not just by circumstance but by love and shared purpose. They looked toward the horizon, where Earth's sky met the cosmos, a boundary that had once seemed insurmountable but now felt just another step on their path. "We're ready," Ethan said, a statement that was both a reassurance and a declaration. The twins, holding hands, faced the world not as the alien children who had once crash-landed on Earth, but as leaders who would guide humanity into the galactic community. The journey that began with two small, frightened children found on a distant desert planet had blossomed into a beacon of hope for all beings. As the stars twinkled above, signaling the dusk of old fears and the dawn of new possibilities, Ethan knew that the greatest adventure was not behind them, but ahead, as infinite as the universe itself.